Being the tallest, fastest, and longest dive coaster in the world, Valravn has a lot to prove. So how does this ride rank in my book? Well, let's dive in and find out. Okay, so I've been thinking this over and I'm going to change the theming category to the presentation category. This way I won't be judging the ride's theming, but including all aspects of the surrounding area of the coaster. So with that said, Valravn is well placed in the park. I love the flower gardens that surround the support structures. It's all well kept up and looks very nice. Valravn is very minimal on theming, minus the signage, cool color scheme of the trains, and the cool giant throne that sits at the entrance. The view from the top of the lift hill is breathtaking, and quite possibly the best view in the entire park. All in all, a score of 8 sounds about right. Intensity. Honestly, Valravn is more intimidating than it is intense. Staring straight down at the ground with nothing between you except for your restraint can be rather unnerving for some. The ride does have a couple moments of stronger G's, but nothing too overly intense, so I will give Valravn a 7 for intensity. Fun factor. If you've never ridden a dive coaster, Valravn could very well be one of your favorite coasters in the park. But if you've experienced a dive coaster before, you kind of know what you're getting into, so the excitement is a little more tempered. Valravn is basically a one-trick pony, but it does that trick very well. Besides the vertical drop, I do enjoy that 270-degree roll, which offers some fun hang time. I will give Valravn a 7 for the fun factor. Originality. Valravn follows the typical layout pattern that all of the giant dive coasters do, with just a couple exceptions like the 0G roll and an airtime hill, which is where most dive coasters would feature a splashdown, which honestly I'd prefer the splashdown because this airtime hill is kind of lacking in airtime. So I'm giving Valravn a 4 for originality. Smoothness. Usually I would say that since this is a B&M, it's going to be butter smooth. But unfortunately, I just can't say that for Valravn. Depending on where you sit will change the overall smoothness of your experience. The end seats tend to be more rough, which is where the full effect of the coaster's rattle is experienced. If you sit in the center of the ride, it's actually quite smooth and more enjoyable. So with that said, I'll settle with a score of 7 for smoothness. My final score comes to 6.6. which is an okay score. Some might think I'm ranking this coaster a little low, but there's a couple things to consider. As someone who has already ridden a B&M dive coaster, Valravn is just a slightly bigger version of those two, being Griffin and SheiKra. So this ride isn't really bringing anything new to the table. I mean, it's a good ride. Honestly, I'll ride this coaster solely for that view, which as I said earlier is breathtaking. As previously said, if you've never ridden a dive coaster, this is going to be a more enjoyable experience. The average theme park goer is going to go nuts for this ride. I mean, that drop just looks pretty insane. So what do you think of Valravn? Am I being too harsh? Let me know in the comments. Please make sure to subscribe and check out some of my other videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.